Hello, I'm Evie, and welcome to the very first video detailing the lives of my Clangen clan, CloverClan. A couple of disclaimers before we get into it. This video and this whole concept is heavily inspired by Nyoko Art's Galaxy Clan series, which I've linked into the description. Definitely go check out Nyoko, they're an amazing artist and storyteller and have gotten me absolutely hooked to Galaxy Clan. Secondly, this video and this whole series will be describing violence typical to warrior cats, so if you're uncomfortable with that, please click away now. I will have individual warnings if there are images featuring blood or other such things, but I will not warn when I'm about to speak about it, so watch at your own discretion. If you're not familiar with it, Clangen is a game based on the Warrior Cats book series by Aaron Hunter. In the game, you get to create your own clan and watch over the lives of your cats, send them on patrols, declare wars or peace with the other clans, and meddle, or not meddle, in your cat's relationships. Without further ado, let's jump into our StarClan residents from the first year of CloverClan and have a bit of a look into the history of the clan. And my speed paint for the StarClan cats didn't save. So you get to just look at the finished products while listening to me ramble. Fun, right? Please don't click away. We're starting off with Aspen Hair, who died at a whopping 199 moons old. He was a bloodthirsty cat and a good climber, and he was the game-generated StarClan guide for CloverClan. Aspen Hair was formerly called Aspen, and he was a member of a group of loners who had traveled far in search of the clans they had heard of. When they finally arrived, these loners found the clans they had been looking for in the middle of a gathering. Spindle Clan, Brush Clan, Mulberry Clan, and Teasel Clan were all disputing over an unclaimed piece of territory, which was covered in clover leaves. The arrival of the loners did not help with the rising tension in the air, and even less so when they announced they wanted to settle in clan territories. When the Brush Clan leader suggested they simply drive these loners away from the territories, Aspen pounced on him, knocking him off the route the leader spoke from. This started a fight, which, to the luck of the loners, did not last long, but ended in a loss, as a Spindle Clan warrior jumped on Aspen and killed him. When this happened, StarClan sent a lightning to strike the ruins in the middle of the clover fields, stopping the fight and attracting everyone's attention to the spirit cat standing over Aspen's body. It was Aspen himself, announcing that he now walked the ranks of StarClan with the name Aspen Hair. Aspen Hair told the clans that StarClan approved of the loners settling into the clan territories, and decreed that they shall have the Cloverfield territory and become the fifth clan, CloverClan. The only other cat, well, technically the only one, who died this year was Sandleap, who was sadly swept away by a flood the very first moon. Sandleap was 113 moons when he died, and he was insecure but a great hunter. He was originally called Sandy. Sandy was fighting side by side with Aspen in the fight that would be called the Battle of Clovers despite its shortness, but unfortunately he failed to notice the Spindle Clan warrior sneaking up on Aspen, and therefore thinks he caused the old cat's death. Sandleap, among most of the loner group, considered Aspen Hair a sort of father figure, and he was crushed with his blame for himself. He avoided Spindle Clan at patrols and gatherings, but sadly nothing really had time to happen before he died. Let's move on to our living cats, starting with our current leader, Rootstar. Rootstar is 102 moons old, righteous, and an eloquent speaker. Formerly called Root, Rootstar seemed like the natural choice for CloverClan's leader due to already being the cat mostly in charge of the group of loners. He was well liked within the group and voted nearly unanimously for leader, but refused to go receive his 9 lives before he was sure he had the approval of StarClan. It did not take long for the clan's medicine cat to have a dream where Root's pelt pattern had been transformed into 4-leaf clovers, confirming he was StarClan's choice for leader. He chose his closest friend, Butterfly Bounce, as deputy, but Butterfly Bounce ended up retiring halfway through the year, and his new deputy, who we will get into shortly, has had a lot of trouble fitting into his new role. He also found an apprentice from Mulberry Clan while on border patrol and listened to the apprentice's worries, giving them valuable advice and convincing them to get back to their own clan. Moving on to our current deputy, the 62-moon-old Smoke Snow. He is compassionate and a good climber, and his former name was Smokey. He was one of the 2 cats in charge of healing while still living in the loner group, but when he had no visions or other signs that he was destined to become a medicine cat, Smokesnow became a warrior somewhat begrudgingly. He did harbor a grudge towards the medicine cat for quite some time, but didn't want to let it get in the way of his duties to his clan. When the former deputy retired, Rootstar chose Smokesnow as deputy as he had noticed Smokesnow didn't quite feel useful in his clan. Smokesnow is admittedly nervous about working so closely together with the medicine cat and unsure if he's fit to be a deputy, let alone leader. He is not the only one, as his lack of an apprentice is frowned upon by the other clans. Rootstar defended him strongly, and the medicine cat reminded the other clans that since CloverClan had no young cats to train yet, there was no cat better suited for the job than Smokesnow. Speaking of our medicine cat, let's move on to Whisperfluff. Formerly named Whisper, she is exactly 100 moons old, righteous, and a good kit sitter. She was the other cat alongside Smokesnow who had a knowledge of herbs and healing, and since she received the vision about Rootstar's leadership, it was determined that StarClan wished for her to become the medicine cat of CloverClan. Smokesnow is adamant that there is no bad blood between the two despite this, but they have been arguing on multiple occasions throughout the year, so who's to say? Whisperfluff really didn't do much this year. She did debate taking on an apprentice after a certain cat with a dreamwalking ability joined the clan, but hasn't acted on it yet. Moving on to our warriors, first up we have Gravel Goat, who was not a part of the original loner group and instead joined in the latter half of the year. His former name was Gravel. He is 118 moons old, adventurous, clever, and a formidable fighter. He was found near the border by Rootstar and Smokesnow's patrol and politely asked to join the clan. Rootstar wasn't one to refuse, and so he got the name Gravel Goat. Gravel Goat was friends with two other kitty pets who also joined CloverClan, whom you'll meet later, and when his two legs suddenly chased him off of the boat he lived on, he decided to go find the place where he heard his friends were living nowadays. In terms of his actions throughout the rest of the year, he fought a rogue named Colin, and while he managed to chase her away, she gave him some nasty scars. And he also got caught stealing a rabbit over the Spindle Clan border at the very end of the year. I think he's just having a bit of trouble adjusting to clan life, but I'm sure he'll manage. I like him. Our next warrior is the 114-moon-old Batstripe, who is the dreamwalking cat I mentioned earlier. He used to be called Batty, but was also not a clan founder, and instead joined when invited by another former kitty pet, who we will get to later, but I will say it's actually one of Gravel Goat's friends as well. As you saw, he is quite old, and he did actually think about retiring at the end of the year, but so far he is still a warrior. If he does express interest in medicine cat duties, I will switch him over because I think his dreamwalking ability is really interesting, and I'm looking forward to how it'll affect the life of Batstripe as well as the whole clan. Next up, we have our first mates and beloved lesbians, Otterrumble and Morningfur. Their speed paint also got wiped, so all you get is the finished image. Otterrumble is actually the cat who invited Batstripe, as well as Gravel Goat's friend from the Two-Leg place. Her former name was Undine, which I love, despite still not having finished Undertale. She is 113 moons old, daring and an eloquent speaker, and I have reason to suspect that she charmed Morningfur with her talent of speech. Morningfur is 86 moons old and is actually a clan founder, with her former name being Sunrise. She was the one cat who doubted whether this was the right place for the loners and did not trust Rootstar to lead them safely among the strange terrain. However, when she found Otterrumble, she finally got convinced that it was worth the hardship living here. Otterrumble and Morningfur actually snuck out of camp together before becoming mates, but they ran into a dog that attacked Otterrumble. Morningfur leaped in front of her, taking the hit and allowing Otterrumble to escape and fetch help. Miraculously, Morningfur did not scar from the ordeal at all, and she was honored for her courage, which she should be. They actually became mates the very next moon, and I like to think that the dog attack made Otterrumble realize how much she actually cares about Morningfur and how strongly Morningfur feels about her. I love them, they're my precious babies. Getting to our next warrior, we have the 111-moon-old Cicada Mark. Formerly named Cicada, he's a charismatic guy with a keen eye and incredible running skills, so I gave him long legs to match that. He has actually not been doing so good this year. He was especially close to Aspenhair, and when the old cat died, Cicada Mark was furious at Sandleap, blaming him over Aspenhair's death. But when Sandleap died, Cicada Mark felt horrible. He kept swearing to StarClan over and over again that this wasn't what he wanted to happen. He was angry at Sandleap and grieving Aspenhair, but would never have wished for the death of a clanmate and a friend. In the same moon that Sandleap died, Cicada Mark actually found some white poppies and decided to keep them to honor Sandleap's memory. And I thought this was just really sweet since poppies symbolize death and peace. He also asked Whisperfluff to teach him more about the nature of StarClan, and I can only assume he wanted to know more about where Sandleap and Aspenhair ended up. He also caught heat exhaustion, and at the very last moon he was caught sharing prey with a kitty pet on the border. But yeah, this boy hasn't been doing so good. Let's hope next year is kinder to him. Next, we have another friend of Otterrumble's, Crunchy. She opted to keep her name when she joined a clan, and honestly, we love her for that. I love the name Crunchy. Crunchy is a 98-moon-old childless cat with unnatural senses. I actually decided that she lived in the same household as Otterrumble, but after their two legs suddenly just disappeared and didn't come back, she didn't immediately follow her friend to the clans, trying instead to survive on her own for a bit. She did, however, realize that the safety of a clan would be an invaluable help and ends up following in Otter Rumble's footsteps, finding a patrol led by Otter Rumble herself at the border and joining the clan. Rootstar wasn't too happy that Otter Rumble invited Crunchy without asking his permission, despite him actually being on the patrol Crunchy encountered, but he eased on her when she explained her and Crunchy's shared history. Our last warrior left is Holly Dream, and man, I wish I had more to say about her. I adore the design me and the randomizer wheel came up for her, but she really didn't do anything this year. She was an original member of the Loner group, with her previous name being Holly. She's 47 moons old, currently the youngest member of the clan. Yes, our clan is really old for no reason. Here's hoping for youngsters next year. She's loyal and a good storyteller. Literally the only thing she did this year was get into an argument with the former deputy about camp restorations, which I am choosing to believe actually means just building the camp itself since the clan had existed for such a short time. And revealed she's a great fisher when she caught a huge salmon while on patrol with Otter Rumble. I wish I was kidding, that's it. She had no interesting statuses, no noticeable relationships, nothing. She is the Brackenfur of CloverClan. Hopefully she has something going on for her next year. Since we have no apprentices, queens, or kits in the clan, next up is our only elder, the former deputy Butterfly Bounce. She is currently 130 moons old, loyal, and a trusted advisor. As I mentioned, she was Rootstar's closest friend in the rogue group, and a cat Rootstar would trust with his life. So it wasn't a surprise to a single cat in CloverClan when Rootstar selected Butterfly Bounce as his deputy. However, even the day she got promoted, she was pushing it in age at 118 moons, and over the next 2 seasons, she got progressively worse chronic aches in her joint, which forced her to retire to the Eldest Den at 124 moons. Before she retired, she didn't get up to too much, mainly the argument with Holly Dream and discovering a badger set on the territory while exploring with Rootstar on their very first days there. In her elderly days, she has proven herself to be a classic sassy elder whose sharp tongue doesn't spare anyone. She has also wished to go out on walks on multiple occasions, and I can't help wondering whether she feels upset that she will never fully explore the territory as deeply as her clanmates. Before we wrap up the first video of CloverClan, let's take a look into the positions of power in the other clans. First up we have the leaders. Rootstar we are all familiar with, but he is joined on the leaders tree by 4 other leaders. Spindleclan's Primrose Star is the only current she-cat leader, but she does not let that get under her fur and is quick to defend herself if someone were to even suggest such a thing. She's 71 moons old and fiercely loyal to her clan. She has 8 lives after losing 1 to a fox attack while out on a walk. Partridge Star is TeaselClan's leader and currently the eldest leader of the clans at 131 moons. He is also currently on 8 lives, having gotten swept away in presumably the same flash flood that took Sandleap's life at the start of the year. He trained an apprentice this year as well. The youngest leader in the clans currently is Mulberry Clan's Volstar, who is only 61 moons old. He also lost a life this year, and in my opinion the coolest way, as he was struck by lightning. However, one of his clanmates actually got murdered this year, and Volstar is determined to punish the murderous rogue. As he describes the she-cat to the clans, Rootstar recognizes the description as the same rogue who attacked Gravel Goat. Primrose Star also admits that one of her clanmates got murdered while out on a walk, and theorizes that this might be the work of the very same rogue. Last but not least, we have Brush Clan's Doestar. He lost one of his best friends this year, and joins Partridge Star's vow of revenge towards his killer. The leaders decide that she has to be stopped, no matter what. Moving on to the deputies, among whom Smokesnow still feels quite uncertain, but is encouraged by Rootstar. In SpindleClan, the deputy is Little J, who had some drama this year. She rejected the clan's medicine cat in fear of them breaking the warrior code, which I'm so far keeping canon accurate in that medicine cats can't have mates. We'll see if I change my mind sometime. Spoiler alert, I changed my mind the very next year. However, not long after that, the two seemed to be constantly sharing tongues, and Little J began to have herbs constantly stuck in her pelt. Next we have TeaselClan's deputy Strawchest, who has been having similar issues to Smokesnow in that his clan also doubts his abilities as deputy. Actually, in the very first moon, 2 kids told him he was annoying and nobody liked him, and that made me chuckle. I'm so sorry, Strawchest, you don't deserve that. In Mulberry Clan, we have the troublesome Beaver Rush as deputy, and she really didn't do much, which means that her section is the length all of them are supposed to be. This is supposed to be a quick look into the other clans. Why is this part of the script already a page long? And in Brush Clan, we have another troublesome cat, Logflash. He is so stunning, but also didn't do anything this year, apart from mentoring an apprentice. With that, we can move on to the medicine cats. Obviously, in CloverClan, we have Whisperfluff, and next to her is SpindleClan's Sharphaze, who I'm going to say right now is, in fact, in a secret relationship with Little J. CloverClan has two medicine cats, Snowy Trail being the original one, and Bounce Rice having joined late in the year, offering his healing skills in exchange for shelter, which was a deal Partridge Star accepted. Now, Mulberry Clan's situation is a little more complicated. Their medicine cat actually died early in the year without having ever taken on an apprentice, and before Volstar even had the chance to ask StarClan for advice, little Shadowpaw volunteered to switch to medicine cat training because she was quick to help, and I decided that that would be cool. And so she is currently the only medicine cat in Mulberry Clan and only 11 moons old. Yeah, I know she would be the size of a full-grown cat, but I like the idea of apprentices having this sort of teen phase before becoming full-grown warriors. Let me have fun with my fantasy kitties, thank you. She's doing her best to learn from the other medicine cats, who have thankfully been nothing but supportive. Unlike StarClan, who have made it clear they are unhappy with Shadowpaw, but she doesn't know what to do to change their opinion. Now, StarClan might have a good reason for their opinion, but Shadowpaw really wouldn't know it. She, along with her sister Sunsplash, are actually the children of the murderous rogue Cullen, who has been plaguing the clans. A Mulberry Clan cat named Frostbots had a secret relationship with Cullen before finding out about her bloodthirsty nature, and when they had kids, they agreed that Frostbots would take them to the clan, as Cullen really wanted nothing to do with children. Once the murder started, the relationship was broken, and no one in the clans except Frostbots is aware of Shadowpaw and Sunsplash's origins. And after that, we have the BrushClan medicine cats, Waterprickle and Scale. Scale joined the clan this year with his 4 children, who are hard at work training to be warriors. There's not really much to say about either of them, other than I love the designs they both rolled. And here we have the first year of CloverClan. Not much special has happened yet, but I am keeping my eye on Otterumble and mourning for potential kits. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully I will see you soon for the next year of CloverClan.